Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm super excited today because it's 2nd of September, and to honor that I thought it could be fun to share with you what are my absolute best second-hand finds. So what are those things that I love the most, that I use the most, and that I got for an absolute bargain. Now I thought that this could have been a fun way to really debunk the myth that second-hand buying is gross and that everything you could find are only like smelly, raggedy, old things and in a style that is good only for our grandmas. That is absolutely not true. You can find great things out there majority of the time in great condition for great prices, and this is a really much more sustainable way of shopping because we are shopping for things that have already been created that someone doesn't want anymore, rather than shopping new, which means creating new pressure on the market and using more resources to create things that we actually don't really need. So that's why I thought it could be fun to do this video and to really show that there is something for everyone out there. I am showing different pieces of clothing and accessories of different styles, use, and also at different price points, just to show that there is something out there for everyone independently on what is your style and your possibility. Before starting though, hey, I am Alice and I do normally videos on sustainable living and especially on sustainable fashion. So if you're interested in that, if you are also trying to live and spend a little bit more consciously and sustainably, please consider subscribing to my channel and maybe liking this video if you actually do like this video. So the first item is technically not even an item, is an entire category, and it is workout gear, and that's because everything I use to work out, literally like from top to shoes, are all things that I received secondhand. And I say received because I didn't even buy them. These are all things that I received from friends and family that weren't using them anymore, so I literally paid nothing for them, which is great. And they are super cute. They make me feel a lot nicer when I work out, which means that I work out way happier and more gladly, which is a lot. So I'm very happy of receiving them. For sure, these are not like the super most loved item in my wardrobe, but they are very practical and it is something that I needed and that I didn't even have to buy, so I'm very happy. And the reason why I put them as a first category is that because I think that we are so used and we are so much in the mindset that when we don't want something we just donate it, and when we need something we just buy it, that we don't even think at asking the people around us if there is something that they might want or that they might don't want anymore and want to give us. Well, I tried to establish with my friend really a network in which we do exchange clothes, and not only clothes. Every time that we find something in our home that we don't need, the first thing we do is asking our friends if they need it, and we are so comfortable in doing that we arrived at the point in which we are literally asking each other, like, look, I need these things. If when you declutter your house you find it and you see that you don't want it anymore, do you mind keep it aside for me? And that works perfectly. And not just for your finances, because in this way let's be honest, we are avoiding paying for something that we actually need, and which is great, but it's also better on an environmental and social level because donating is really not that much good for anyone. And if you want to know more about that, I have an entire video explaining why this is the case. I'm here now because the second item I want to talk about is the white jeans I am wearing right now, and I wanted you to see them in all their greatness. So these are actually one of my absolute best bargain ever, probably the best bargain I'd ever had, and that's because these costed $2 in a charity shop here in Leuven, and it is one of the most used items in my wardrobe. I was just so happy, not just because they were $2, but also because they fit me perfectly, and being me, a very petite person, this is more a miracle than a reality. Never jeans fit me immediately. I always have to alter them, so I was just so thrilled. They are really one of my most used items in my wardrobe, and I honestly don't even just use them in summer. I literally use them all year round. Even in autumn winter I use them so much. So the cost per wear is really almost zero at this point because they costed so little and I'm using them so much and loving them so much that I'm absolutely happy that I pulled the trigger and bought them. So the next item is again a pair of jeans, and if you follow me you probably already saw them because I use them all the time. And granted, these are actually not my most loved pair of jeans or my most loved item in general, but it's definitely one of my most used, and that's because they are very plain, they are super stretchy, which makes them super comfortable, And because I don't love them that much, I am not really worried of ruining them. So that means that I use them all the time, that I need to be comfortable. I maybe a risk of like getting dirty or something like this, like when I go walking or if I go grocery shopping, but at the same time I want to look a little bit more put together. And this is what I use. Basically, this has been my quarantine outfit all the time. So that's just to say that sometimes we don't need to like super love an item, sorry, but if it is functional, it's functional. It works for us and it is absolutely worth the cost. And in this case, again, this is something that I found, it was a random girl who was just randomly selling her stuff on the street, and I found these ones. They were super cheap, and for what I use them and for how much I use them, they have been an absolute bargain, and I'm super happy I have them, even if I don't really love them. The next item is actually something that I really love this time, and it is my black cardigan. I bought it from the same girl that sold me the jeans, so I got 2 in 1, and this is something I super love. I live in this cardigan in winter. It's super comfortable, super warm. It goes with everything, and the thing that I love the most is that it has these fake leather sleeves. So it's still a very classic piece, it's still very neutral, but it has that something more, that something different that makes it a little bit more interesting, because otherwise a black cardigan would be, let's be honest, boring. So I don't really have nothing more to say about that apart from the fact that I really love it. Passing to the accessories now, the first thing I wanted to talk about is my waist belt, which is this lovely gear here. And this is again one of my absolutely most used and loved items in my whole wardrobe, and I think that the reason is again that this is a little bit of a surprise, in the sense that I was considering again of buying a waist belt to spice it up a little bit my old clothes, and that's because I don't have the biggest wardrobe, so I use my clothes over and over again, and especially with dress, because they are an outfit in and of itself. There's not really that many ways in which you can mix and match them, so I was starting to get a little bit bored of some of them, and I really wanted to try a way to make them different and to continue liking and loving them before like considering of decluttering them. But again, I didn't want to invest a lot of money in something that was a tryout. And then I found this on a local second-hand shop, and it was like a really love at first sight, and it did exactly what I was expecting it to do. There are so many clothes that I restarted loving thanks to this belt. So again, one of my absolute best love things ever. I know that I'm quite repetitive, but this is my best finding after all, so it kind of makes sense, don't you think? So the next thing I want to talk about are my Tiffany earrings, and yes, I know that these are a little bit pricier and they won't be everyone's cup of tea, or not everyone can afford them, but if I have to be honest and thinking what are the things that I love and use the most, I cannot not include them, because since I bought them at this point 5 years ago, I can't think at a single week passing by without me using them. I literally use them on average 3 times per week, which means that a lot of time I use them even more than that. And despite having used them so much for so long, again 5 years, I still love them to bits, and I cannot think it's separating from them. Like, it would be just heartbreaking, and if anything would happen to them, honest truth, I would rebuy them immediately. So for me it was absolutely worthy. And also, if I have to consider cost per wear, again at this point it's very little, because I still use them so much. So worth it for me. Last thing are my Chanel ballet flats, and that's because even if they're pretty new, because I bought them only in March this year, I have already used them so much, and I do love them to bits. So I know again this is a quite pricey item, and I do understand that everyone, a majority of people would probably think that this is a waste of money. No offense taken, I do see your point, but for me they were absolutely worthy. I found them on Vestiaire Collective for less than half of their retail price, so for me it was a pretty good bargain, and I do absolutely love them. I do live in flats in summer, so I was comfortable in buying them, and these are the colors that I wear all the time. And I love how they make every outfit feel special. Like, even the most boring outfits, even if you have, I don't know why I can say outfit today, anyway, even if you just have like a plain t-shirt and jeans, you put them on and they look fantastic. So because of that, I do absolutely love them, and I couldn't live without them. And that was it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope this was entertaining, and let me know what is your favorite secondhand item, if you ever bought secondhand. And until next time, bye!